Hi, welcome to another edition of the Weekly Wrap, the program where we talk about news nuggets mined from the previous newspapers. And today I have a guest. He's no stranger to Lynn, Gordon Hall. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Calvin.
Now, a lot of people know the Hall Company. They see their signs around a lot of residential and commercial properties. Tell us about that.
Well, the Hall Company was formed in 1981 to manage real estate purchased mostly by related entities, mostly apartment buildings at the beginning, but we operate a few commercial buildings, mostly in the downtown area and elsewhere on the North Shore.
One thing that I remember a few years ago, now, you're a business person in town, and the Daily Item a few years ago attributed a quote to you, and I'm going to paraphrase it. Something that was quoted, Gordy Hall says that Lynn's arrived. We know because last week I saw somebody loading a surfboard on top of a car in Central Square. And you know what? I've thought about that ever since, and we've been really have arrived because the whole Central Square area after the zoning change meant that more people could move in that didn't have cars. We're a zip car and commuter rail type of generation.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure I've seen the surfboard since, but it was a marker. Was something I really took note of at the time. And I think small cities, well, big cities are certainly having a resurgence, but small gateway cities in Massachusetts are as well. And Lynn's not an exception. I mean, there are more residents downtown. And as you know, not all of them rely on their own car for transportation.
Well, I've been here 17 years, and I've noticed a big change. Just since our community started to really embrace the arts and cultural district, which is right outside our doors here at 181 Union Street. And by the way, surfing, we just had Hurricane Gert go by here and it stirred up our surf a little bit, but we're in the middle of tropical storm season. And I can attest, being a surf kayaker myself, what a gem we have off of our shores here. That beach between Swampscott and Nahant, centered in Lynn, is a perfect place for that fetch coming in. Now the fetch is the long waves that come in so that you won't have that gnarly chop that's dangerous, but the nice ones that people like to ride in. And I'll tell you, I felt like I live in a great, almost rivaling a California community, because here we have the Lynn Woods and the ocean, both wonderful recreational gems.
Well, and in fact, I should note also that I spoke to a surfboard manufacturer recently and a paddleboard manufacturer who's actually interested in locating in Lynn. So maybe I spoke too soon when I said that I haven't seen a surfboard since. And I haven't, but I did have that conversation maybe 2 weeks ago.
Well, that's good. We're always looking for new, clean industries to come in and repurpose some of our buildings and make sure we're starting to manufacture in America again. There's a whole new resurgence. It's getting harder to compete with the foreign labor market, but the thing that's come swinging the other way is transportation and shipping costs to bring those goods in. It's making it worthwhile to manufacture in the United States again.
Sure.
I know ABC TV always has a Made in America segment, and they're highlighting them. A lot of them come to Massachusetts because we have a lot of industries here. You just mentioned another one. What do you see next for Lynn? We just had the great Beyond Walls project kick off, and it's still going on into the summer. What do you see is happening next?
Well, that's a great question. It'll be interesting to see how the mural project Beyond Walls is leveraged for future, whether it's arts events or how it's leveraged in measurable economic development. But just to talk a little bit about that Beyond Walls festival, it was truly an inspiring and moving event. I mean, Al Wilson did it, and the folks he worked with did an unbelievable job at pulling that off. It's not often you get someone who combines a vision for something, a passion for something, and the requisite skills to actually execute it. I mean, everything was done so well. And it doesn't hurt that the art is absolutely exquisite. So where that goes, it's interesting. I hope it becomes an annual event so that this is the first of many mural festivals. It would be wonderful if Beyond Walls could build off a very successful first year for other mural festivals on into the future.
Well, I want to personally thank you for your offer of a wall. So one of the murals, which street is
The Black
yours?
Madonna on the corner of Monroe and Washington.
One of the ones most photographed and talked about of the entire murals. Every time I go by there, people are posing in front of it, taking selfies, taking pictures of it.
Well, there was something about Al's enthusiasm, and it was difficult to say no to Al. So we became a cheerleader and a contributor, both in money and in wall and in office space. Beyond Walls set up camp upstairs from where we're sitting at 181 Union for a while.
Yeah, I was going to mention that until you did, but we thank you for that too. Al's been on the program, and you're right, he's infectious. Infectious? Is that you could,
His enthusiasm is...
Hitch a ride on it with him, and you can't help but jump on the bandwagon.
Well, and now Lynn has a little cool factor. You know,
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's cool, but now it's more cool.
Well, it's more cool. I mean, we thought it was cool, but people... I bumped into a pair of older women, I think they wouldn't mind my describing them that way, from Hampton, New Hampshire, who had come down during the week expressly to look at murals.
Wonderful. It's nice that everybody's hearing about this through regional media.
Well, it was on WGBH, Jared Bowen, so that helped.
Okay. Well, we got a couple of minutes left, and if we can, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the news nuggets mined from the dailies.
Great.
Lynn's Vault is locking up tenants. Well, speaking of downtown development, this is what, number 23 Central Avenue.
Yeah.
I guess commonly known as the Flatiron Building. We have several in town, but this is one of the prominent ones. And that's about to open up.
Yeah, I believe that they're moving tenants in September 1st.
Yeah, and there's a coffee shop and pizza shop, upscale, they call it, moving in on the ground floor, and that's going to stimulate more stuff in that in the Central
Yeah, I think it's
Square
great. The
area.
building
I
looks
love it.
fabulous, and it's an iconic building in downtown Lynn.
The Yin to the Yan regional landmark is being torn down. The Ship Restaurant down in Linfield. I just want to mention that because it's been there forever.
Yeah.
And it's coming down, making way for something new. This is today's paper. We just remind people, by the time this telecast, it might be history, but there's a 63% total eclipse visible here coming Monday. And watch it if you will. Remember the safety. Don't look at the sun directly with your eyes. There's ways of doing it through approved glasses, etc. But I remember the last time it happened, it was just eerie because everything got kind of dark in the middle of the day and then came back. And not just a dark, it was almost a sepia tone. It was different from twilight. It confused everybody. So I just want to mention that. Also, 50 years ago today was the Tony Conigliaro famous, the whole dream team of '67, and I'm glad I was around for that. Because now,
It was the year I became a Red Sox fan, 5th grade.
yeah, that was, I still remember some of those players. They've been interviewed all week on various TVs. You know, we talked so much about Lynn and your company and what's going on, we might have to wrap this up.
All right.
We wanted to talk some more about the news, but I'll get to some of those next week too. Understand that there's a lot of stuff going on in our city. Subscribe to a daily. The Daily Item's one of them. You can do the Globe, with there's weeklies around, but get involved with periodicals. It's a staid, traditional way of getting your news.
Well, and they're part of the fabric to keep a community together.
So you want to bring us home?
Until next time, in every way and every day, keep loving Lynn.